in the army, along with what I was learning as my technical skills, there was a special module which was taught or is still being taught to all the army officers. It is called OLQ. The full form is Officers Like Qualities. That makes you stand out from the normal crowd. How you speak, how you sit, how you conduct yourself, your positive thinking, critical thinking, time management, and a lot more.
A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to Not Alone at the Top, Unsaid Stories of Heroes podcast, where we delve deep into the dynamic world of community leadership. Join us as we uncover the insights, experiences, and advice from leaders who have successfully built and impacted multiple communities. Today we have with us Lieutenant Dr. Rita Gangwani, also nicknamed as the Queenmaker. Ma'am began her career as an M&S officer in the Indian Armed Forces, and today ma'am is a grooming officer, ma'am is a personality developer, and ma'am has given a lot of names to the film, TV, and the fashion industry. Ma'am is the founder of Rig House, which is Rita Gangwani's House of Personality Transformation. Ma'am has been awarded by the President of India, honored by World Book of Records, and has almost 25 plus awards that she has been honored with. Ma'am wants to understand what is truly holding people back from success and how they can overcome these inner blocks. There is so much to talk about, ma'am, because ma'am is such a decorated personality. But I don't want to take a lot of time introducing ma'am because I want ma'am to speak for herself and tell the world everything that she has achieved. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. Welcome
Thank you
to
very much. Thank you. I'm honored to be on this beautiful platform of Womennovator, and rubbing shoulders with so many women who are actually on their journey to their dreams. Thank you very much to have me.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, so, ma'am, let's begin, shall we?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, ma'am, while I was reading about you, I was really inspired by your story because my own father is in the Indian Army. He's serving right now. And I know how settled he feels in his own career. So, I feel it takes a lot to make a career switch and something so dramatically different. So, I want to know what was your motivation behind wanting to choose this career path? And what was the inspiration? Let's start with the inspiration that you had behind changing your career path.
Okay. Well, very frankly speaking, when you shift from the armed forces to the civil world, whether you are retired or whether you're taking voluntary retirement, you have no option but to switch somehow. But most of the people look around what they are trained in or what they specialize in. But my answer is no different actually, because in the army, along with what I was learning as my technical skills, there was a special module which was taught or is still being taught to all the army officers. It is called OLQ. The full form is Officers Like Qualities. That makes you stand out from the normal crowd. How you speak, how you sit, how you conduct yourself, your positive thinking, critical thinking, time management, and a lot more. And I loved that subject. I loved it. And so there was definitely a roadmap in my mind that this is something which most of the people lack. And this is something, if it's brought out in a different way to the civil world, people will definitely excel in their personal and professional life. So once I actually hung my uniform, that's when I used the OLQ, but that was very hardcore, what we learned in the armed forces. So I softened it. I went to a finishing school, learned the basics, and then combined the entire experience of being the officer and this, and then just jumped into this with my vision of Riga House, that is Riga House, Rita Gangwani's House of Personality Transformation. So yeah, so that's it. OLQ.
Wow, ma'am. That's great to know. And I'm sure the viewers would have learned something new today. The OLQ. Uh, okay, ma'am. So I want, because now that I described you with everything that you've been decorated with, I want you to describe the real Rita Gangwani to
Okay.
the audience. So
Okay.
how are you in real life? Like, what do you like?
Right.
Let's delve a little bit into that.
Yes. See, in my profession, you have to have an image you need to display. And being an army officer, you certainly, people, when they perceive or they when look at you, they think you to be a very, rigid and that kind of a person or a strict kind of a person. And a lot of people give me feedback. I do, in my first appearance, look like that. But frankly speaking, I'm very childlike inside. I can describe myself as a bubbly stream. I just love to babble, 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 make real connections in life, and love to flow like that bubbly stream, connecting people, giving the water. That is my skill, or anything in which way I can help people. So that's what I am. Yes. So first impressions deceive, but that's not exactly what I am. I'm very much childlike. You ask me to, at this age, to splash in water, rainwater, I'll do that. Jump in the puddles, I'll do that. Anything which brings out the child within me. Yeah, that's what my real self is.
Wow, ma'am, that's amazing. You very nicely quoted, "Don't judge a book by its cover." I think that's a quintessential example of that.
True.
Um, okay, ma'am. So I want to ask you that, like you said that, okay, the OLQ is something that you were really inspired by to start your own career in, the grooming sector.
Right, right.
What would be the three skills that made you successful? Uh, any three top skills?
The three top skills, one was my communication skills, because I love connecting with people. And being in the army, we loved and we were taught to, how to speak with people with different profiles, different age groups. So I blend myself. So one is communication, one is flexibility. As I said, that my approach to people is quite flexible. And number three, I think, is empathy, because when people come and share their stories with me, uh, I completely empathize, because I have also gone through a route where I had actually given up on life and I thought I'll never be able to achieve anything in my life. So, empathy is something which really is something which connects me to my students or to people I connect with, because the biggest art I think everybody needs to learn is active listening. Listening to people with your heart thrown in with empathy. And that's when people open up and they tell their stories. So I think these are the qualities which connect me to people in a certain way. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And I completely agree with you. I feel empathy is something that people should have across careers. It's when you're working with human beings, empathy is one of the most pivotal thing to, to fall back on.
Right.
Having said that, ma'am, I want to know how you got to know about Womennovator, as you've also been the 1,000 women face a body with us. I want to know how you got to know about Womennovator and how your journey has been so far.
Um, well, I go back to when the Womenator just started and we were actually looking for a name. I got connected to it through Miss Sumani, and she is the founder, as you know. And at that moment, the word was going around, that there is something coming up for women incubation, learnings, and connecting them to the right people. And I think I was one of those people who actually got connected to Tripti right the moment she had a thought. And then, yes, I've seen it grow over the years. And it's amazing that from a vision of one woman, it's now gone to thousands and thousands of women, and that too across the world. So, yes, it's been a beautiful journey. See those beautiful women bloom, have confidence, present themselves wherever they go, pitch themselves at the right places, and of course grow in financial as well as in their personal space. So I think it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm looking forward to it going all over the world and connecting as many millions and trillions of women as possible. Yes, so all the very best, and I'm very, very fortunate to be one of the founding members uh, or a part of it right from the beginning. Yes.
And that's great. That's really good to know. And I'm sure with support of you and many other leaders that we have, we would be able to grow miraculously. Okay, so ma'am, I was also reading that you are a motivational speaker and you've always also been a TEDx speaker. Ma'am, I want to know, is it challenging, number one, to motivate people? Number two, how does one motivate? Like, because I have grown up understanding that motivation is a very intrinsic concept, right? So, what were the challenges that you had while you were trying to motivate people, and what your approach was like? I really want to understand that from you.
Yes. See, motivation is not a one time affair, frankly speaking. It's like taking a bath every day. You need to keep having that as a food every day, because as we grow from a child to an adult, we face so many challenges in life, and we become very resistant to change. Or there is the habit formation of negative thinking, or self doubt, or low self esteem. Everything is built as we grow from a child to an adult, either because of the circumstances we live in, or the school we go to, the teachers who attend to us, or the friend circle we are in. So there are a lot of challenges. And unfortunately, most of the people I come across, they just give up on lives. And just talking about it for 1 day or 2 day is definitely not going to help. You may instantly feel motivated, but by the end of the day, like you like let's look at it naturally. If we all go to a cremation ground and we see a dead body being given the last rites, everybody at the cremation ground says, oh, this is what the life is. Why do we do this? Why do we fight it? And the moment you come out of the cremation ground, you're back to your own life, and same rat race happens. So that's what I'm saying, that it's not a one time affair. It's every day, every day, every day you need to do it. And breaking that barrier of resistance is the toughest thing, because the habits once formed are like a banyan tree with very strong roots. So my approach is that whenever I'm trying to motivate someone or trying to instill confidence into someone, I make sure it's an everyday journey. And that too, it has to come from you. See, the person who wants to change has to tell me the person wants to change. Nothing will change unless you want to change. The desire has come from within. So there are ways and means I try to burn that desire in them, that anything can change in life. There is no limit, there is no age limit, there is no time limit. Anything can change in life when you decide to change. So when a person realizes that the outside forces are not the ones which will change me or my thought process, it's me. And when they actually realize that, then the wall is broken. I'll just give you a little story, that there was this, a person who was a negative thinker or was into addiction of certain things. And he was unable to give out his addictions, and he was completely, deeply into addiction. And the wife took him to so many, doctors and everything, but eventually they landed up with a motivational speaker. So the motivational speaker, he just told this lady that bring him tomorrow. And so next day when the guy came, he said, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And like that, it was happening. So what was he doing? One day, this patient, he wanted to see how he calls me every day and he says, I'm busy. Let me see what he is doing when he's busy. So he went and saw that this doctor was hugging a pillar. So this patient asked, Doctor Saab, you're hugging a pillar, and every day you tell me you're busy. So why don't you, just get rid of the pillar? He says, no, I am not hugging the pillar. The big pillar is hugging me. ये मेरे को नहीं छोड़ रहा है. मैं इसको कैसे छोड़ूं? ये मुझको नहीं छोड़ रहा है. He says, how is this possible, sir? How can a pillar hug you? You are the one who's holding the pillar. You are the one who has to release the pillar. So this doctor said, this is exactly what I wanted to teach you. It's not the addiction which is holding you. It's you who's holding the addiction. So this is how, you have to find the ways to get across to people and make them realize that it's them who are not driving their car right. They need to actually take the steer wheel and redirect it in the right direction. Yeah.
Wow, ma'am, that I think changed my perspective as well about a lot of things. That's great. Uh, uh, okay, ma'am. So I want to ask you like one fun question now.
Okay.
So before that, I want to talk about your book, The Beauty Pageant's Green Room, uh,
Yes.
which came out in the year 2017, and it was the fashion book of the year 2017. So, ma'am, talk a little bit about your book, and then I would like to ask you a question related to that, ma'am. So, first, let's
Okay.
just talk about it.
Okay. So this is my book. It's called The Beauty Pageant's Green Room.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
the concept behind the book was that there were so many students who couldn't reach me. So I thought, if they can't reach me, let me write something. I had read a quote somewhere that if you want to leave a legacy behind you,
Hmm.
write a book. So it really inspired me, and I wrote the book, and it just went everywhere. But when the book was coming out, a lot of people gave the feedback that it is actually a grooming guide. It's an encyclopedia of personal grooming, starting from your thinking to your fitness to your image. Everything was covered in that book. So I'm very fortunate that the foreword of the book has been given by former Miss Universe Sushmita Senji, and she was very kind to understand that this concept of getting the books to people who cannot reach or who don't have internet facilities or something, wherever they are in remote areas, can actually read and pick it up. So that's the reason the book was written. And of course, because it covers all aspects of grooming, that's how it was given the honor of being the fashion book of the year in 2017. Yeah, so the inspiration was to inspire people who cannot reach the urban areas, cannot go to schools, or don't have the necessary means to groom themselves. So let them just look at the book, learn it, groom it, one chapter at a time. Yeah, so that's how it was.
Wow, ma'am. I would personally love to give it a read. I've made a note of it, ma'am. I'll order it today.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So let's now change this question. Like you said that you want your book to inspire people. Which book has inspired you in your journey?
Uh,
If you want to name a few.
well, you can see a huge library behind me. I'm a ferocious
I love
reader.
that, ma'am. Yeah.
And I can read anything. I mean, right from any genre, you can say that. But one book which really inspired me, it's called The Laws of the Spirit World. The Laws of the Spirit World by Khurshid Bhavnagiri. Now,
Okay.
this is a real story of an old lady, in fact, a couple who lost their two young boys in a car accident, and how the the departed souls connected with the mother through a clairvoyant and have sent messages to the people, to human beings, how to be a good human being. What is karma? What happens when you die? What should you do? What is your purpose in life? And they have really given a very good description in the book, how when we are born and when we actually get into the worldly affairs, we forget why we are here. We are running for that bread and butter, but we forget the reason why we are here. And everybody is born with a mission.
Hmm.
And this is a real story which has been written in automatic writing because Khushi didn't know how to write. So it's a very, I would say, it's a very occult kind of a book which has been written from various means, but it has such deep messages that once you read a book, it actually makes you realize what is
Hmm.
karma. Oh, what did I do? Okay, what
Hmm.
is forgiveness? What should I do? What I should do in life? Of course, bread and butter running is a part of life, but besides that, how
Hmm.
to be a real human being, how to be genuine human being.
Hmm.
And a very, very deep book. It really inspired me. And this is one book I always tell all my students to go through, because I do see the shift happening once they read this book. It's available in English, Hindi, not a very expensive book. Anyone can buy within 200 rupees. You can even get it on the red lights. But what a book! Must read.
Sure, ma'am. I and again made a note of it. I'll give it to the. Okay, ma'am. So, I want to ask you. Let's say we are now talking retrospectively. Now, let's say that you are sitting here and you're looking at 15-year-old Rita Gangwani. What would be that one advice that you would give her? That one thing you would ask her to hold on to reach where you are today? What would be that one piece?
Well, that's a very, very, very deep question and a very close question to my heart. Uh, my 15-year-old was a very insecure child, somebody who had given up on life, actually. Didn't look at any bright future, never thought would have a bright future. And when I go back and I look at that insecure girl, I would just love to go and hug her and tell her that embrace your uniqueness. Embrace your uniqueness, because over this journey of life, as I grew from that 15-year-old to where I am today, an over senior citizen, I have realized that you are perfect in your imperfections. There is nobody on this earth who's perfect. We all are unique in our own way. Even the twins are never same. Even they think differently. So when there is no one like you, what does that tell you? It tells you that you are a designer piece God has created. A designer piece, a unique piece, a limited edition piece God has created. He broke the mold after He made you. You will never find anybody else on this earth who's exactly like you. So embrace your uniqueness, because that is the most important thing in life, and that is what makes you you. And yes, now as I moved from that 15-year-old to where I am today, this is one lesson I've learned in life. There is no one like you. And whatever people talk about you or say things about you, it is their opinion. Your own opinion matters the most. Yeah.
Wow, ma'am. I think that will I think resonate with a lot of people who would watch this. Young women who,
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
not just women, I think even men, like everybody
Everyone.
faces this insecurity at
Everybody.
some point.
Yes, yes.
So,
One thing more I would like to say to whoever may be listening to me today is that it does not matter what's between your head and your feet. What matters is what is between your head and your chin and how you use it. So the power is within you. Your
yes,
height, your color, your body shape, and nothing matters.
yes,
What matters is this. Use it wisely, and nothing will stop you from moving ahead in life.
yes. Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
That's amazing. um, okay, ma'am. I have one, like another fun question for you, ma'am. So let's just say hypothetically, you can have dinner with one iconic figure. They might still be alive or they might not be. Anyone, they can be from any field. Who would that be? And what would be the conversation you would like to have with them?
One iconic figure, I think I would love to have dinner with the late President of India, Abdul Kalam ji. And what I would want to ask him, how did he stay grounded in spite of being of such a high stature? How did he remain so grounded, remained rooted to what he was? And my conversation to him would be, what would he tell to the youth of today's generation? The shift of values which have happened. As you see, all these youngsters are so much onto, uh, um, you know, they don't live the real real lives. They live the real reel lives nowadays. And I call them the instant generation, instant coffee, instant Maggie, Instagram, of course. So
Yes.
my question to him would be, what would be his message to today's generation about that shift which has happened, and what would you tell them, or to inspire them to reconnect with their roots again? So that is what I would love to know from him, because that's something which is very challenging in today's world. It's so difficult to mold today's generation because they are so scattered in their thoughts. So how would he do that? That will be my question to him. And I've really admired him as a person, as somebody who was so real, so real. Yeah.
Wow, ma'am. That's the instant generation thing is very true. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I have last question for you, which is, um, how do you continue to stay motivated every single
How
day?
do I?
Like you said, yes, ma'am. Like you said, that motivation is an everyday thing, right? Let me get back to that point of yours. That every day you have to keep bringing it back. How do
Absolutely.
you keep? How do you stay
Myself
motivated?
motivated. Yes. So I will tell you two mantras of my life which I
Sure.
follow every day. In fact, three. Number
Good.
one is I take a be positive capsule every day. So that means you need to motivate yourself every day.
Hmm.
Second, I would say is that whenever I am worried about what will happen, what is happening, blah, 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 most of the problems which happen in your life are always in your brain. They never happen in reality. We
Hmm.
think too much about that. So when
Hmm.
my mind gets involved about what will happen, I immediately take charge of myself and I say, I will cross the bridge when I get to it. I will cross the bridge when I get to it. And I wait. And when the situation actually comes, I realize there was never a bridge. It was
Hmm.
all in my mind. So, one thing is, we don't know about the future. No one knows even the next moment what is going to happen. Nobody knows, nobody can turn back to past. So, be in the present. What can I do now, which is in my control? And what is
Hmm.
not in my control, I will cross the bridge when I get to it. And
Hmm.
second important thing is, yes, we all face challenges in life. In fact, every day we
Hmm.
face challenges, either in personal lives or in professional life. But I always motivate myself by saying that every night turns to day, every winter turns to summer. The biggest fact of life is it changes. So, whenever I feel that I am in a situation where I'm stuck, I always say to myself, very lightly, I pat myself and I say, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And it passes. And it passes. So, the ultimate message of motivation is, do the things what you can control and surrender the things which you cannot control.
Yes.
So do maximum best what you can about the situation. If you can't do anything more about it, just surrender. This too shall pass. And two, most of the time, if you're thinking of a situation, maybe it's not even like that. It's all in your
Hmm.
mind. So that's how I keep myself motivated. These are two strong mantras of my life.
Wow, ma'am. That is wow. I think you put it in a very good way, ma'am. I think it will stay with me as well.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. So this brings us to the end of the podcast. I want to tweak this question a little bit for you because, ma'am, you're a grooming coach. I would have asked you to leave the viewers with a message, but I would ask you to leave the viewers with the top grooming tip. Like, something that you think everyone should apply in their lives and it will just work out.
Well,
Any.
you want a physical grooming or the mental grooming? Please
Ma'am, you can
clarify.
give one of each. Let's do one of each.
Okay. So when it comes to physical grooming, I would say that I told you, don't judge a book by a cover. But unfortunately, society judges you by the cover. We also, when we go to buy a book, we look at the cover and then only we look at the backside of the story. So, first impression matters. First impression matters a lot. So, if you want to be successful in life, make the best first impression as wherever you go, whether personal life or professional life. Dress to the occasion, have a great positive body language, smile, have a great eye contact with people, and have, of course, a very open body language, great smile, and connection with people. So, first impression should be the best impression because you never get a second chance to make first impression. So, it might be so good that people themselves want to connect to you. So, take care of your physical appearance, and your body language is one. And when it comes to mental grooming, I would want to tell that the most important thing we need in today's world is patience. Things happen at the right place at the right time. If you're looking for instant things, if you're looking for instant success, and even if you get it, you will never be able to maintain it. It's easy to find success. I'm repeating this sentence once again. It's easy to find success, but it's very difficult to maintain it because people will have that expectation from you once you become very successful in life. And that can only happen when you fall and you get up again with experience in life. You need a long experience behind you to maintain that success. So have patience. Even if you're falling, that is not for without any reason. It's giving you experience. And next time you will start with that experience. And then you will fall again, you have another experience. And this is how you should grow. So have patience in life. When you put a seed, it takes time for it to grow. Don't expect it to grow overnight. So that never take a shortcut in life, always take the long cut. Even if you fall, it should not matter, it's a part of life. So these are the two important grooming tips, the physical and the mental, I would like to leave your podcast with. And I hope whoever is listening to me actually applies them and see the change happening in them.
Ma'am, I'm sure they would, because I really want to say that this was a very authentic and articulate podcast. I think
Thank you.
the way that you put across things, the articulation, ma'am, it's out of the world. I really
Thank you.
enjoy talking to you, ma'am, and
Thank
I want to first thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule and being here, because it was an honor to have you here, ma'am. It was great to
thank you.
connect with you personally, and thank you for being a part of Womennovator and for all the contribution that you've given. With this, ma'am, I want to call the end of this podcast, and thank you again.
Thank you, and a great day ahead to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, now you'll have to stay. Just
Okay. She's still recording?
Yes, ma'am, I have to tell her to end it now. We'll edit this part out now.
It went okay?
Yes, ma'am?
The whole thing went okay?
Ma'am, it went like amazingly well. Like, honestly, like I said, it was genuinely very authentic and articulate.
Thank you.
And we really stuck to the time limit. That was great.